Welcome to Pyramid One World Radio Network. You can call in and talk to our hosts by dialing 605472576, then dial the access code 60860 and you're ready to be part of a worldwide movement to educate everyone listening to these shows. Let's begin dialing.
This is a Pyramid One International Network presentation. Hi, and welcome to Pyramid One World Radio. Let me tell you about the host. Dr. Randall George Nozawa is living proof that a person can do everything right, only to suffer horrific events that ended decades of hard work and left him blind. The two most gruesome tragedies he suffered would make most people feel his pain, but not Nozawa. He's grateful just to be alive. Dr. Nozawa had played high school football in Honolulu and later became a professional bodybuilder. When he moved to Washington, the muscle-bound Nozawa enrolled at the University of Washington's dental school, studied hard, and faithfully graduated. Yet years later, after opening a handful of dental clinics, when he could finally afford the lifestyle he always wanted, a tree came crashing down and foiled all his best laid plans. We may call it tragedy. The doctor calls it adversity. Dr. Nozawa said, "Misfortune is just disguised as an opportunity." The first opportunity, as Nozawa calls it, was a near-fatal car wreck on his daughter's birthday in 2003. While driving his luxury car to her party, he was run off the road. A tree pierced the windshield, and the branch punctured his skull, destroying one eye, damaging the other. But that's how Nozawa met an older couple that would introduce him to his second life-altering opportunity. Caught in the middle of the couple's domestic violence incident one fateful night, his neighbor first shot his wife, dead, then shot Nozawa in the head from 12 inches away before finally shooting and killing himself. Now you may say to yourself, ouch. Nozawa said, the crime shocked the community of Gig Harbor, where it occurred, and received its due amount of attention in the area newspapers. However, during his prolonged stay in the hospital, and as he took a year to learn to walk again, his wife, Deborah Nozawa, hired temporary dentists to keep the clinics open. Yet, when the businesses performed poorly under the temporary staff's care, family finances plummeted. And with all of his medical bills, you would think that would be the end of the story, but it's not. Regarding his home life, Nozawa is just grateful that his family has stuck by him. The doctor says, my wife Deborah had to do a lot after I was in the car wreck, and again after getting shot. He said, we went from awfully rich to rock bottom, penniless, and almost homeless. But these days, Nozawa has global plans for his businesses. Transformational Kaizen Institute for Personal Freedom. Indeed, he works by phone and offers advisement over the internet to clients from all over the world and advises businesses in employee development and retention, in meeting long-term goals and in growth. Plus, now he also has a world-class radio show bi-monthly where you, yes, you, the public, can call into the show, dial the number, and talk to the doctor right here on Pyramid One World Radio Network. Dr. Nozawa says, dreams do really come true, but you have to believe it before you can see it, he said. He has made his own dreams come true by helping others pursue their life aspirations in his free 14-page book, Precipice of Potential, which can be downloaded at his website, www.drrandallgeorge.com. Dr. Nozawa's radio show is here to teach and inform the world of things that we who have sight can't see until the doctor tells you what to look for. There are many things in our life that can be changed. Tonight, allow the doctor to help you, to help yourself and others find yours and their paths on your journey of life. May I present?
Be sure to be very quiet, okay? Oh, can you bring me headphones?
Yeah.
Dr. Randall George Nozawa.
Here, I have a hair rally.
Oh yeah, doctor.
It is time.
Oh yeah.
What?
It is time.
I thought you'd like that one.
No, thank you. God, I sound so good. I want to hire me. My gosh, thank you very much. Wow.
Yeah,
Thanks
I had to
so much,
say,
Bob. Like I said, always a pleasure, and thank you for my show, because we've, with your help, I get to be out there to 138 countries, and we've had so many inquiries. Well, thanks to you and Pyramid One, and what you've done with this channel is really revolutionizing the world, because you allow me to bring up very crucial topics that no one wants to speak about. Because one, for censorship, and that's happened to you by speaking the truth, and just thank you for letting me bring all this to the public, because my lifelong mission is educate, inspire, and empower people to live their greatest lives in highest expression. And today's guests are just very special to me, because I can ramble on with the Cottrells, but what a fantastic couple that has undergone a lot of transformation themselves, and extra special to me because they live up in Seattle, and I've been in the Seattle area, and north to Everett and south to Tacoma with my dental clinics, and I've been living up here for almost 40 years now, so I consider this home. And I know I'm just so glad to have both Robert and Susan Cottrell on the show here. So, if it's okay, I want to get started. Robert and Susan, welcome, and I'm so glad you could make it onto the show. And just a little bit background for all you listeners out there is that I ended up listening to Susan's TED Talk. And I go, wow, I don't know who this person is, but I'll take a listen. And what I heard was truth, authenticity, and unconditional love. And we're talking about a couple that's devout Christian, and that's the belief, that's the who their friends are, that's how their church goes, and then. They have 5 children. Right. 2 of their daughters, confided in them, something that they've been holding secret for, quite a while, and then thusly the creation of this global organization called FreedHearts. So anyway, I want to talk to you both, and like I said, that TED Talk really touched me because as a parent. you're always trying to do the best things for your children and to teach them the right way and to have them have the right beliefs and always lead with love and things like that. But what you both were hit with was something I think you would never have ever expected. So anyway, welcome to you both. And Susan, let's start with you. Can you tell the audience a little bit about your Christian beliefs and then what happened to the family?
Okay, great. And it's just me, by the way. Rob is not on today right now, but but we run this organization together.
Yeah.
And yeah, we were, in the evangelical church for 20 years. And we got into it via relationship. We were told we had a relationship with God available to us through Jesus. We took it. And the people that, invited us became friends, and it was all about community and relationship. Well, that kind of changed over time. It seemed the church became more and more conservative, more and more rules-based, even though they wouldn't ever say that. It's really how it was. And we discovered the truth of that when our daughter, first one and then the other, came out. The first one said she was bisexual. She now identifies as queer. But she called me from college and she said, I'm struggling with same-sex attraction, because those were the words we had for it at the time. And I prayed about it. I've asked God to change me. I've resisted it, and it won't go away. And, I don't want it. I don't know what to do. And so it kind of pulled the floor out from under me, because I realized in that moment we would never fit into our community again, because our church was our community. And, I encouraged her, but I had to come to terms with everything myself and come to understand it. And then, but she said, finally, months later, she said, I've started dating girls. I'm not going to resist it anymore. And she said, I've started dating women, is what she said. And I'm not going to resist it anymore. And I'm more at peace with God than I've ever been. And I said, that's all I need to know. And so we had already begun to deconstruct our understanding too, but we left the church and we reached out to all the people who were in Annie's position, but didn't have parents who would embrace them. And so we became the advocates we are. And I wouldn't trade one tiny piece of it.
No, I'm glad you did. See, I've actually been, this is actually the first time you and I have communicated in this way, because usually I've been talking to Robert online.
Yes.
And he's been so gracious with all my fumbles with
time.
That he's such a nice man, and I know that he's out in the community too, doing advocacy and education and all that. Now, for you as a parent though, and then with your beliefs in Christianity and in the Bible and all that, what I see here is you chose unconditional love instead.
Yes. Yeah.
And see, because as a parent, I'm glad what you have put yourself into is this community, and it's a cloistered community.
Yes.
And it's a certain belief system. It's these rules or else. And they're going, okay, and they go, and then for your two daughters, it's like, okay, they're struggling to, how do I tell my parents the truth?
Right.
How do I they're going through all this suffering, going, oh my gosh, does God really hate me? Am I that bad? So I'm glad they got to tell you the truth. And as caring, loving parents, you chose love first. Yes. And I said, oh, whew. Because as a parent, I'm going, oh my gosh, and then you're so hard to lead your children in the right direction so they can make the best decisions for themselves. And one of them is beliefs and convictions.
Yes.
And so you're presented with this, oh gosh, what do I do now?
Right. That's right.
And so I'm just so glad you went this route, because that's what prompted me to contact you, because you chose love. and
Yes.
you chose your family.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, and that seems like it seems so obvious, and yet it's not taught as obvious
Yes.
in our conservative churches. But anybody who claims to be a Christian named after Christ, Jesus Christ, should be looking at Jesus' words on what's important. And the most important thing he said was love God and love others. And if you're not doing that, you have to start over with your thinking. And rejecting her or telling her she wasn't good enough or she had to change or my beliefs come first is not loving her. I don't care how you slice it up and package it. It's not loving.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, that seems like, okay, you know, if you're a doctor, don't purposely kill anybody, okay? Let's get that straight first. Then we'll talk about other, but don't kill anybody. Yeah. And it should be as a Christian, don't reject anybody and don't tell them they're not worthy, that God doesn't view them as worthy. That should be the first thing. Love first. Yeah, and everything else lines up under that.
There was something, Susan, that I saw on one of your videos that I watched them all.
No, thank you.
I'm serious. This is a subject that I do not, and I'll be perfectly honest with you,
Sure.
I do not dabble in a lot.
Yeah.
But your website.
What, religion or LGBT?
I can't even say the letters that fast.
Okay.
So skip that one. But
Okay.
the idea was there was one tape. I don't know where you were in that when you said it. That somebody here in the studio that thought I had lost it completely because I stood up and clapped. You turned around on the video and you said, I had a choice of choosing the church or my child. And I chose my child. I literally stood up and clapped. I was like, yes, I'm going to push myself. And I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, well, you know, the church said, and this one said, oh, let's face it. I mean, you know, even the Bible they use now in church, and that it has nothing to do with the one that was originally written.
No,
The
it
one
doesn't.
that's originally written says love all over it.
Yes. That's
And
the main point.
Right. The new ones, we go into politicians, let's put it that way, in church.
Yeah. Yeah. And, you know, that's the wrong focus. The ones Jesus got mad at, the only ones he got mad at, excuse me, were religious leaders who told other people they weren't good enough, who didn't help others, who didn't embrace others. Those are the only people he got mad at. So we should take a clue from that.
Good for him.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Really. Yeah.
You know, Susan, what you've done, we'll talk about FreedHearts in a minute here. So I just want to kind of just bring up a small story that's related. Is that, you know, one of my closest friends that I went to high school with, that I played football with, ended up becoming a pastor. And, you know, this worked out for him. But his contention when we talk about LG, you know, BTQ is all that, is that, you know, they can come to his church, but, you know, he won't do things like marry them or hang around them, because he goes, the Bible rejects all that. I said, you know, I don't know everything about the Bible, but I know that as God's children, he welcomes all of us. He loves all of us. No matter, you know, what your orientation, and for me, you know, for those that are you know, kind of differently abled, and and like that, we're all God's children, and we're all loved the same, and things. So yeah, I'm arguing with the pastor, right? I said, you know, Dean, that's, I don't think God meant it like, well, it says here in the Bible. Well, you know, maybe the Bible needs to be reinterpreted, but I don't think it was meant for that. Because, you know, God is love, and God is the highest form of energy. And I don't think God excludes anybody. So anyway, you know, that reminds me, you know, of you when I think of him. And one of my closest friends that I met in blind school, a black gay guy from New York. And he goes, boy, the you know, and a highly Christian. He goes, boy, you know, the amount of fights I had to get into.
Oh, wow.
You know, and I go, oh, really? I said, yeah, you know, one, I'm black, the other is that I'm gay, and they're telling me that I can't be Christian. And I say, well, he goes, I'll show you guys. I goes, oh, okay. But it's just like that. And then from there, your TikTok came, to my inbox, and a guy listened to you going, wow, look at her. Yes, and then you chose love first. And I think that is such a, just a neat thing, because like you said, gay, lesbian, bisexual, transgender, queer, and all that. All these folks are out there suffering at the fringes because,
Right.
they're told God doesn't love you. And then they go, well, wait a minute, I love God, but I can't even go to church, and I
Right.
get treated like this. And talk about confusion, because where's the identity?
Right.
When you talk about unconditional love, they go, wow, really?
Yeah.
And so
Right.
that's why, you are so important to me to get you on this show. And can you tell the audience out there how FreedHearts came to be, and then where you're taking it?
Yeah. Well, after Annie came out and we embraced her fully, and I did have to look into and figure out the theology, not because I would change my mind on embracing her, but because I started to think, well, if this is wrong, could we be wrong on this? And if we are, what else might we be wrong about? So it sent me into a whole existential crisis in my faith. But I tell you, God met me there, and I realized how much judgment there is in the church and in Christians, including me at the time. And I was shocked by that. And I knew that was anathema to the message of God's love for us, that Jesus came to show us, and Muhammad and Buddha and all the others came to show us of God's love, and Moses. And I began to ask Annie stories. Tell me why this has been a hard thing for people. And it wasn't long before I realized, wow, there are a lot of people out there in trouble. When I learned that 40% of transgender youth that are homeless are LGBT, that's 4 times the general, number of LGBT, which is 10%. So 4 times as many homeless youth are LGBT. I was horrified, and I thought, okay, for every child that's been made homeless, there are parents who have made them homeless, and parents out there just struggling. And they were Christian; they're largely Christian or otherwise religious parents. Many and 25% of homeless LGBT youth were kicked out the same day they came out to their parents. The same day. How can you give an answer like that? I've raised you for 18 years, 16 years, 12 years, but this one day you say you're gay, now you're out of the house. How do you do that? So I realized there was big trouble. And so I started writing a blog, is what I did. And people reached out to me. The first blog post was called God, Some Gays, and the Bible. And anyway, people came out of the woodwork to say, oh my gosh, my child has come out. I don't know what to do. I'm afraid they're going to hell, and I'm going to hell if I support them. Or, I've told my mom and now she won't stop crying. And all of these people who were in deep, deep pain. And I just loved them well. I just loved them and returned them to themselves. And it was profound. And it just grew from there. So, we become a full thing. We've been doing this now for 7 years since that first blog post. And we're doing weekends now for LGBT. We've just rolled out this year these beloved weekends where people can come and really, really be deconstructed of their fears around what other people think of them and what God thinks of them, and their own internalized queer phobia by which they're suffering, for themselves. And it's just been great. And we've worked with a ton of parents. We have an online support group for parents. So we've done a lot of work in this area, and we just continue to grow because the need is so profound for people just to be loved and embraced as they are. That's the human job. That's our job here on earth, is to love and embrace each other as we are.
Well, this is just so beautifully said. And like I said, for you and Robert, as parents, and too, but you've taken this, I think, just a massive leadership role, because it's like, those, before, all this happened to you with your daughters, this kind of stuff was like other people and nothing to do with us.
Well, and it's interesting because I even had gay friends growing up. I did. And my best friend in high school was a gay guy. So, and I didn't grow up in the church either. So it wasn't like I had some issue or thought they were sinful, but I knew the church was not okay with it. Yeah. And so there was kind of a cognitive dissonance that I hadn't really put together, but I figured, well, something must have happened along the way that now they're gay. Some kind of pain, is why they're gay. That's the only way you can really reconcile that being gay is not God's plan, and these people that are good people are gay or trans. But the more I looked into it, so it was sort of in the back burner for me, which is what church requires of you when it has categories for people. You kind of have to put it in the background, like, okay, you don't really think about how it doesn't really fit, that these people who are lovely are somehow not favored by God. I hope you followed all of that.
Yeah, I did.
Okay, good. But the point is, I forgot what your question was now.
Hold on. I like listening to you to talk and all that, but no, I so wanted you on the show because, when I listened to that TED Talk, I go, she chose her children, she chose love first, and I said, to me, it not being, I study the Bible as far as more as for education, and I'm not a biblical scholar, but I study it. And I always wonder, ask why, and things. And when I heard you, I said, to me, if I were to pick a religion for some reason, it's that, I think all of them are based on love. And yet you got all these rules that are built in there. But I said, shouldn't it all be love based anyway? And so it doesn't matter what the religion, should be all love based. And see, that's what you ended up, choosing, because you weren't expecting all this, and then and so you've got 5 lovely children, and you've got 2 of the girls coming out and say, hey, this is how this is, and it's like, this is not something you relearn or you try hard. This is the way it is, and God blessed you with that. Yes, and the way I think, and so I said, and then so you're not to be chastised or belittled or demeaned because whoever wrote all these rules, that's not God. God is love.
That's not God. All the rules are just handling fees.
Yeah, no, it is, and then from there you're going to church, and I was listening to you say, all our friends are from church, and all our friends are believers in this, and so you've got to go around and ask them, oh, hey, by the way, do you think being gay is a sin? Oh, yes.
Yeah, suddenly that's
really?
The
okay, well,
yeah.
And so now you're in a strange position and all that, because you're kind of stepping into these waters yourself too. But see, but the primary point is love came first, and to me that's the best religion right there.
It is, and it's what Jesus preached, by the way, for any Christians listening. It's what Jesus preached, and it just became a no-brainer that we've got to love first. And if my love doesn't match, if my beliefs don't match up with loving you, I've got to re-examine my beliefs. Not loving you, that's the key. The beliefs have to be re-examined. And because we've gotten it wrong many, many times, like your pastor friend who, they're welcome, but we won't marry them because it says right here. But That's making them second-class citizens.
That's right.
And you're allowed to ride on the bus, but you have to ride in the back. Well, that's not acceptable. It's not enough. And so LGBT people know when they're first-class citizens who are celebrated as they are, as anybody should be celebrated, and when they're sitting in the back of the bus and held under rules that people made. People interpreted those rules in the Bible. And, Christians don't want to see that, but it's very, very clear that those were interpreted.
Mm-hmm.
So.
No, anyway. It's true. And and two, it's the, like I said, that TED Talk did really, just a number on me, because I listened to you. I said, wow, look at this parent. And, she's leading with love. And I said, what a powerful TED Talk. And when you look at religion itself, look at all the darn wars we've gone through and continue to go through. And you have something called the holy wars. I go, that's so weird to me. Holy wars.
Contradictory, isn't it? Yes.
What the heck does that mean? And believe this or else kind of deal.
Right.
But
and genocides and taking over countries and eradicating people who were already in the country, just took over. Those have been done in the name of religion primarily.
Yes. No, exactly. So it's one of those powerful kind of I can't say excuses, but that we all humans want to believe in something, right? But so that's why what you and Robert do is so incredible to me, because you're leaders. You become leaders, especially for just love. And I think it's like folks have got to reinterpret the Bible, because it should be just love, no matter what the words are there, and it's written by guys and all, but whether it's Christianity or whatever you want to pick for religion, it's love based, and that's what you have proven and done. So can you take a few minutes to talk about your Beloved Weekend?
Sure.
New program.
Yeah, well, we're starting to set them up around the country, and people have been responding incredibly, saying, please, I hope you come to our town in, this southern state or this northern state or whatever it is. But the idea is we get together and we really we talk about the beliefs that we have inherited, and why do we believe what we believe about LGBT? I'm talking to LGBT people that have internalized their own queer phobia, their homophobia, transphobia, and they can't sleep at night, or they can't look themselves in the mirror and say, I love you, because of what they've been told about themselves, and they're terrified that God doesn't accept them. And even no matter how much progress they made, often they still lie awake at night and wonder what God really thinks of them. And that's tragic. Yeah. That's tragic. So we gather and I really help them understand who they are and where these beliefs came from, and deconstruct them for them so that they can really embrace who they are, and have compassion for those who have given them this message, but understand very clearly that the message was false and based on a faulty premise. And they walk away feeling like a new person. So that's what we do in Beloved Weekends, and it's incredibly powerful.
That is so wonderful. Now, I have a question for you too. Have you ever thought of creating your own church?
No.
Okay.
I've been asked that many times, especially since seminary, but
yeah,
I have a church basically, and that is the online community that I've created. Okay. The LGBTQ community, the parents community. We have a huge moms group and a dads group online, and so I'm a pastor in that capacity. And also when I go places and speak and I do these weekends, I'm a pastor that way. But if I had a whole church to run, that would be the limit of what I could do, really. I mean, that's a full-time job.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
yeah. So, no.
Yeah, there was something that Susan said before that, it was funny that like everything just went, right in front of my face. We're 10 years old in a couple of months.
Yes.
We've got over 1,100 shows
Well,
already.
great. Congratulations.
Thank you. And one of the things that I said had to be in the first either week or second week of the shows that we had is I used to say that the first thing that people should do is go to the bathroom, look in the mirror, and look in your eyes. Look, make sure the eyes connect.
Yeah.
And say, I love you.
Yes.
Tell everyone, if you start there and you're successful in saying, I love you to yourself and believing it,
yes,
you will be the number one person in your universe.
Yes.
We all have a universe.
Yes.
The thing is, we just have to bump into each other and make our universe bigger.
Yeah. Yes. And you are the most influential voice in your life.
Right.
Your voice in your head is the most influential voice in your life. And if you have internalized, when you were told from without, oh, God doesn't like you, God hates you, and you say, oh, I don't think God likes me, you are now internalizing for yourself with the most important voice that you have, what others have said to you that are false. And it creates consequences. Those ideas have consequences. And so you have to rethink from the bottom up. I'm really glad to hear you say that you do that, because if we have trouble, and a lot of people have trouble looking in the mirror and saying, I love you, and meaning it, that it's uncomfortable. If it's uncomfortable, why is it uncomfortable? That's something to plow into. It's uncomfortable because you've been taught that you are somehow defective. Because infants, tiny babies, oh my gosh, they're crazy about themselves. They love themselves. And they're right to do so. Well, when does it turn into suddenly they're not acceptable? That's a learned narrative that we've been conditioned into. So yeah, it starts with us, and it is not selfish to love yourself. It's putting on your own oxygen mask before you can help anybody else.
Well,
otherwise you're useless.
Another thing that you can do too is just turn around to yourself, and I don't care where you are. You could be in the middle of I don't know, sitting on a highway somewhere in a traffic jam, and just saying, I am.
That's great. That's
and
great.
You say that to yourself, at least every once in a while when you think about it, and it'll pass through a few times. You got to grab it when it goes through.
Yes.
Just say, I am.
Yes.
Oh, Jesus Christ said it.
Yes. Yes. Jesus reported God as saying it too.
Pretty good guy, huh?
Yeah. And so, and also in addition, I love you saying that. That's absolutely great. And I would add on to that too, because we say, I am so-and-so, constantly we say that, be very careful. If I am is the identity marker for God, for Jesus, for us, be very careful then what you ask, what you add on to that. Yep. Yeah, I am stupid, powerless, ineffective, unworthy. That's like eating poison. So yeah, it's really, I love that you said that.
It's I am, period.
I am, period.
Period.
And if you want to go, if that's not sufficient, you can say, I am beautiful. I am intelligent. I am loving. I'm kind.
Yes.
Yeah. It'll change your life.
No, that's I like listening to you guys. No, but Jean Houston came up with a couple of things some years ago. She says all of us are put on earth as God's seeds, and up to us to become God's selves. And all of it is based on love. And
yes.
and just what Bob just said here is that when you look in the mirror, because we are reflections of that God energy. and Jesus taught a lot of us about that. But it's that, love is the highest energetic form there is
Yes.
on our earth. And then love is not stereotyping or I'm better than you, or love overcomes ego. And so, well, Bob does this too, daily in the show. But what you're doing is that you're teaching people actually, what a religion should be.
Yes.
It's love, and then it's inclusive,
That's right.
not exclusive.
That's right. If it's not inclusive, it's not love.
Yes, that's right.
Period.
No, that's right. And so you've gone, like I said, one, you never expected this, but the other is that you've taken and you've taken a stand, and you put love first. And what you're doing with FreedHearts and with these beloved weekends is that you're showing more than just the gay, lesbian, transsexual, bisexual, queer crowd, that they're loved, and God loves them and all that. But you're telling all of us that we all are loved, and we can love because we come from love.
That's
and so
right.
Yours is, I think, a much bigger message than you might think, because it's yes, that this community that's been excluded, now you're including them. But for the rest of us, we all grow up, with some kind of blame or shame and abandonment. And I don't think our parents are meant to do that, but we are, because it's like, oh, you're not as good as your brother, or you're not as good looking as your sister, or Christians do this.
Yes.
And things like that, and you can't hang around them, because I said, whoa, really? Okay. And so what you're saying, too, is one, you're redefining or reinterpreting what the Bible is saying, but yours is it's love first, and there's only love.
Yes.
That's it.
Yes. There is only love. That's what
it's
we're
to me, it's very simple. It's love first, and
and I'll tell you, when we are trained into the rules, when you hear that it's all only about love, your reaction is, oh, that can't be true. But those rules have to mean something. And when they've been really important to you, because you were told they were really important, it's hard to take your hands off of them. But when you do, you find freedom. That's what was so, oh my gosh, so sweet to our souls, was the freedom we found by letting go of what we thought we understood, because we didn't. We didn't understand it. So, yeah, I'm very grateful. I'm just such a better person now because of my interface with the LGBTQ community. I owe them, gratitude for making me a kinder, more loving, more expanded person than I was. So.
Okay. No, that is so beautiful, because my condition with any kind of religion, especially Christianity, is that there's so many rules in there, and that there's just built-in hypocrisy, which I don't understand.
Yes.
And so what yours was you just made it very simple. Love first.
Yes.
That's it.
Yeah. Love first.
Love first, and love only, and then all. And it's a great way, not only for relationships between families and individuals and all that, but people that don't know each other. How you relate to yourself, how you relate to the environment, how you relate to spirit, how you relate to people that you don't even know, that's overseas, that don't even look like you, that they don't speak the same language, but love is love. You see, and that's what you bring to the table. And I just think, this is the way, it should go.
Yes.
With your busy schedule and all that, where are you? What's ahead of you? Where are you taking?
Well, we're kicking off our beloved weekends in Seattle next month.
Yeah.
And so it'll be on our schedule. You can go to freedhearts.org to get all the information. And also belovedweekends.com. We'll have our schedule up there too. But you can find it through freedhearts.org, all the information we have. And we're setting up our weekends now. So it'll take me around the country. We've had a lot of interest already saying, yes, let's get the date on the calendar. We really want you here. And I've been to Australia for 2 different speaking tours for a month at a time. and they want to get me out there for 4 events there too. So there's a lot going on. There's just a lot going on in UK. We're talking there too. So it's just a big need because the powers that be, have marginalized so many people. And you're exactly right when you said it's not just LGBT, but it's differently abled, it's the elderly, it's people of color, it's all kinds of people women who have been put on the margins. Yeah. And so speaking unconditional love to them brings freedom, and to step outside that power structure that tells them they're not enough. They're not skinny enough, they're not white enough, they're not rich enough, they're whatever. And so that's what we love to do. I love to empower people. It's my favorite thing.
Yeah. Oh no, you're. I listen to you, and what you talk about is kind of what I tell Bob what I do. So we've got personal needs, we got the pillars of wellness, and we have at least 11 primary God laws, and I think there's 3 more to that. But yours is a personal development type of course that you're undergoing and teaching. Yeah. But all of that is spiritual expansion, metaphysical expansion.
Yes, that's right.
And that's inclusive, and that's everybody. And with kind of thinking like this is how you can eliminate wars. This is how you can eliminate poverty. This is how you can run a business.
It's our only hope, Randall. I don't think we have another hope.
No, exactly. Yeah. Because what we're doing now is, not great. And when you look at, who's actually running our country, something like FreedHearts and you bring leadership, heartfelt leadership to the, to our herd, because when you hear all the bad language enough and all the, the us against them kind of deal, then people will end up picking sides. Well, there's only one side.
Yes. Yes.
There's a love side, and that's it.
That's right.
That's right. And it's not competition anymore. It's cooperation, collaboration.
Right.
And so that's what I see with FreedHearts, and with you and the Cottrell family, is that's what you bring to the table. Is love. There's nothing more powerful.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we love to do it. We do. We love to do it.
Now, how old are your kids doing?
They're doing great. They're doing great. Our one daughter is partnered now and has the older one, and she works creating cocktails. She's this beast of creating cocktails, and she had an article. They wrote an article about her in Bon Appetit magazine.
Wow.
So awesome.
Very good. Yeah.
Yeah. Her name is Annie B.B. Tron. You can find the article about her. And then my younger daughter is she's singing now on tour with the band Taiko, the electronic dance band Taiko. And so they're just smoking in their lives. And I tell you what, I look at those 2 girls and all my kids and think, if I had been stupid enough or blind enough or afraid enough, really is the word, to embrace them, that I would have rejected them. What a tragedy it would have been across the board. It would have hurt them so badly, and it would have hurt me so badly. Us, Rob and me. It just, thank God we never were too afraid to embrace our children. But love is the counter to fear. Yes. Love chases away fear. So I don't know. It's a good life when you can just love and embrace and let things just open up.
No, I'm so glad that you're on the show, and
thank you.
When I tried to contact you, well, it's actually I contacted you, first, and I think Robert was the one who just reached out, but it's like it's one of those things where I still wanted you on the show, but then a lot of times people don't respond. I go, but it's so important to our life here on Earth, not even just the United States, but all over the world, because how we judge people, demean people, and you're right, it's love versus fear.
Yes, yes.
And so then we've got this religion thing, and everyone's got when you read whatever that is, there's all kind of rules, and
Yes.
there's always ways to break the rules, and if you do,
Yeah.
you're bad,
Yeah.
bad, and then if you're gay, lesbian, bisexual, transsexual, queer like that, then that's awful, terrible. You don't belong. And so what you bring here is inclusivity, because love is love, and is the most powerful force in the universe. And where do you think that comes from? It comes from God. God is love.
That's right.
You see, and so yours is how religion should be, and so that's why I'm so just glad you're here, and I'm so glad that both you and Robert that are just these parents that says love comes first. Our kids come first because we love them, and we're all God's children, and and you spread that out to everyone.
And imagine going into I'm always looking ahead, and like, when I get to be old, I don't want to have my kids scattered and resenting me, and because I was a jerk to them. I mean, oh my gosh, that is so opposite of what we're going for here. It's so opposite of what we're going for. So yeah, we love to talk about this. We love to reach out, and we work, on the grassroots. You mentioned politics, and we just don't really do that because it's so big and overwhelming. And I think the change is going to come from the grassroots. I hope things are happening in politics that are positive. I don't know, but that's not where we work. It's in the grassroots. And Rob he coordinates everything. I tell you, when we started this journey, I was the one that needed to kind of answer the theological questions. I needed to understand where the cognitive dissonance was.
Yeah. Rob
was more like, you find out whatever you need to, but I'm with you on it. And we're loving that girl. We had no other thought than that. And but he runs all the back end stuff. I mean, he coordinates everything that happens for me. So I'm on this call because he coordinated it for me, which is great. I couldn't do everything I do without him doing everything he does.
Yeah, he did. He answered me, and I told him, this is what we're going to do. And he said, okay.
Yeah.
That was kind of, I mean, seriously, I mean, when you're doing it from a production and of doing something, and you're bringing people, I mean, we've talked to people on here in 4 or 5 places at the same time, all over the world.
Wow.
We have one of our other studios is in Australia.
Oh, wow.
And then I have a director there. I have another one in Texas.
Oh my gosh.
And, these are things where each one of them is different.
Yeah.
Each one of them reaches out in their own direction. The one that's in Australia, that enables us to coordinate either above or below the middle line of the world,
Yes.
From there, we can get anywhere. Asia, we can get, India, anything you want to.
That's fantastic.
So we're versatile.
Yes.
Way.
That's great. So keep doing what you're doing because it's powerful.
When we put out these shows go on, we have a channel on YouTube. That one goes on all the blogs. All the blogs go out to all the places that all 3 places talk to.
Yeah.
So you can imagine. I mean, these things are all over the place.
Yeah. That's great. What city in Australia?
It's the same thing. That's Pyramid. Let me see. It's Pyramid 2.
Okay.
It's Pyramid 1. And then we have 3 is in Texas.
Okay. Cool. Very good. Well, it takes all of us, all these various people just loving well and reaching people that, on the ground floor. That's the exciting thing.
No, this is a great. Well, it's like I said, beyond that too, and including that is, you and Robert, because when in the United States we have a divorce rate of like 50% and more, and so what you show is that just love and respect, honor, and things like that.
Yes.
And well, first,
those things they said in their vows.
Yeah. Well,
remember,
people actually forgot them. I don't know what they did in Las Vegas, but maybe they forgot them. But yours is just love and respect, and you work as a team.
Yes.
Because I think we technically we are one team. as a human species, and we get lost. A lot of us are
Yes.
lost and things. And what you do, I think, is more than what you think. Is that you bring all of us together, because it's more than just the sexual differences that you bring to the spotlight. Is that you bring all of us in, because we're all different, and we're all one species. And so
Yes.
what you, Robert, and FreedHeart does is that you unite us all.
Yeah.
Unite us
thank
all.
you.
And it's very special, because like I said, I listened to that TED Talk and I go, oh, God, I so wish he would contact me back. Oh, yes. And then and Robert did, and he goes, oh, who are you? What do you want? And I said, okay, well, I got the
I
show.
sure didn't say it that way.
He's just just a wonderful guy, and I think you guys just are a match, and it's one of those kind of love-based things, and you've shown your children what that is.
Yes.
As far as relationships go, and things like that, and it's that love bond, love glue can cure a lot of things, can heal a lot of ills, and then it allows you to grow. It allows you to grow. And so that's what I see with you and with Robert and with FreedHearts, and I had to ask about your children, because I've got 3 girls,
Yes.
and you never think that they're going to grow up, but they do.
Yes, they do. Before
and
you
from there's
know
like,
it.
what are they going to do, and how do they think, and are they going to be kind and loving, or are they going to be bank robbers, or what's going to happen to them? And so, like I said, what you do, because of who you are and who Robert is that you transform lives, and you mold them in this loving way, and you allow people to develop, but always love based. So I just so grateful that you got to be on the show.
Thank you. Me too, very much. Yeah, I think as parents, if you just continue to grow and love yourself, your kids will just follow, because we keep wanting to teach our kids.
Yeah.
And it's often stuff that we haven't really learned. But the more effective path is just to continue to grow yourself in love and compassion and joy and peace, and your kids will just grow in that too. They watch it in you, so that's a cool thing. That's a cool part about being a parent. I wish I'd known that better when they were younger.
No, I was telling my girls the same thing, because they're whether they're 36, 30, and 25 now. And all those younger years are gone.
Yes.
And gosh, I'm a lot smarter now, but darn it, I did all the stupid things. And can you forgive me?
Yeah, I know.
And so, but it's like I said, it's what you've done is to enhance the love aspect, and I just think it's one of the most powerful forces, and they all get to live in that. Now, as far as maybe these next months or this year goes, do you have a schedule of where you might be, or where you?
It'll be on the website, and freedhearts.org or belovedweekends.com, but freedhearts.org is the bigger website. So either one of those, and we're developing our schedule. So if anybody wants to have a beloved weekend in their area, they can contact us through the website, and we'll get something set up, because these are needed. We've dealt a lot with the parents and helped the parents a lot. And there are people doing good work to help churches, but these LGBT people and other marginalized people, that's where there's such a need. So contact us. We'd love to set something up in your area, because these are needed. So.
Yeah, you also have I just wanted to step in here for a second, on FreedHearts, there is a section, if you click on LGBTQ, it'll go down and it'll say, ask Susan and Rob.
Yes.
There's an area on there that if you have a question, you can even be anonymous if you need to. If there's a question, if there's something you want to know how to become part of this, you want to know how to help. The whole section is there. All you do is you just write to Susan and Rob, and they get the message.
And we'll answer you. I answer a lot of emails. So yes, thank you for pointing that out. That's great.
Oh yeah, that's important. Communication.
Yes.
So, ladies and gentlemen, it was a great meeting tonight. We got to do this again. We got to get Robin here.
Yeah.
He would be glad to come in.
Darn it.
Yeah. Well, set it up again and he'll be on. That would be great.
We'll do it. The doc will take care of it.
No.
Yeah.
Okay. Susan, it's just a pleasure and just nice meeting you. And then, like I said, I
he
so
just
wanted
stepped
you.
in, actually.
So
he
wanted
just stepped in. Hold on.
So wanted to be on.
Won't be on.
Yeah, set it up. We'll do it again. I'd love to.
There we go.
Sorry,
Okay.
I interrupted your close, didn't I?
It's all yours. So thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
God bless y'all.
Sorry.
You've been listening to Pyramid One World Radio Network. God bless. Bob Charles.